All right. Well, guys. Well. What do you think? We got us. We got a little box to open up tonight. A little box to open up. So yeah, we got us a few things. Couple little things here to open up and check out. Can you hear me okay? This is just a little bitty box. See, I could put my camera over here, right? And put the box here, but you guys wouldn't be able to see what's in the box, so. There's some good stuff in here. There's some good stuff. I can see it already. What should we get? So we got, what do we got? We got Clank in space. A deck building adventure game, Clank in space. All right. What else did we get? I have to make sure I take these out in order, because if I'm bringing something out that's not in order, then you guys might know what's coming. So, we also got Talisman, the Magical Quest game, revised 4th edition. All right. So that's pretty cool, huh? We also got Clank, a deck building adventure game. Dice Tower seal of approval. Hey, Mark. Stratomatic fan, says Mark. Talisman is awesome, says Beatles Eternally. Not a War Game Wednesday, Chester. Yeah, so we just Clank, right? The deck building adventure game. Expeditions. Gold and Silk expansion for Clank. Expeditions. So this is an expansion. It has new stuff. Yeah. Clank Expeditions. Temple of the Ape Lord expansion. What do you think of that? Uh-oh. There's a big boy. There's a big one coming. Are you ready for a big one? Are you guys ready for a big one? Here we go. This is a big one. We got Clank Acquisitions Incorporated. We also got Clank Cyber Station 11 for Clank in Space. We also got Clank Apocalypse. This is for Clank in Space. And last but not least, one more little one. Just a little baby one. Ugh, I gotta slide this out of the way so you guys can actually hear me. We got Clank Acquisitions Incorporated, the Management Pack. That's it. That's all I got. That's all. I know, pretty bad. So we got Clank, a deck building adventure game. So what is this if you're unfamiliar with it? Basically what you're doing here is it's a deck building game. So it's kind of like a risk reward type game where you delve into a dungeon against other players and you try to get as much treasure as you can, but you don't want to wake up the dragon. The dragon's down there. And the dragon keeps hitting you and attacking you. And if somebody makes it in and out of the treasure, somebody makes it in and out with one of the items from the dragon, then the dragon attacks all the players left in the dungeon. So it's kind of a screw your neighbor over kind of risk reward. How far do you want to go? How much do you want to try to get? How afraid are you that your friends are going to leave you down there by yourself? And how much do you want to try to take while the dragon is going to be coming after you? So, Clank. And then, like I said, a couple expansions, which adds a new different board and a new enemy and some new rules and stuff. This is Temple of the Ape board. So it's got like a jungle theme to it. New boards, new enemies to fight, new cards, stuff like that. And then the same thing with this, which is Expeditions Gold and Silk, which is basically you're going into like where the giant spider queen is. So you got to go in there, try to get to where the spider is hiding all the good treasure. So yeah, fun stuff. So that is Clank. Then they came out with a new version of Clank, which is Clank in Space. So it's basically the same exact game, but this one is have boards, kind of like more modular boards you slide together, and you have like futuristic type laser guns and stuff like that. Just kind of changes it up a little bit. And a couple expansions for that, which is Apocalypse, which adds more modular pieces, more cards, more stuff to the game that you can play with. Same thing with Cyber Station 11, or it's more boards you can use, more cards, more stuff to do, more rules, things like that. And then, of course, the big boy one, which is Legacy Edition. So if you guys are unfamiliar with Legacy Editions, what it is basically it's a kind of what you would call like an adventure path in a box. So the things you do as you progress through the story, change the story, remove cards from the game, add cards to the game, change the rules of the game. There's actually stickers in here that'll change rules and everything based on what you do in the game. So that's why it's a legacy. So you play through it, you change it, you make it your own type of game. And if you're not familiar with Acquisitions Incorporated, it's a D&D podcast that they have, and they play Dungeons and Dragons. It's kind of based on that, those characters from the show. And stuff like that. So super cool. So that's what this one is. So it's basically Clank, but it's like a story mode where you go through it. You do you play through the game, and as you play through it, you keep your characters. They progress through the story. You'll add stickers to the board, so you'll have new paths to take. It's really neat. So that's what a Legacy Edition does. And then, of course, the Upper Management Pack, which adds a couple figures, some new characters to play, starting decks, cards, just changes up kind of some of the Legacy things. And then, of course, Talisman. And who doesn't love Talisman? Talisman's a classic game from like the 80s. But it's now 4th edition. It's been out since 2017, the 4th edition. But I've been meaning to get this because there's all kinds of expansions for this and everything. But I wanted to pick up a few of these items instead of just Talisman, because some of these items are getting hard to find. So like Clank in Space is like sold out most everywhere you go. There still might be a few copies. You can get a copy someplace, but if you're looking for this, it's going to be mostly sold out. In fact, this is last copy I got was at one of the place that I ordered it from. Was the last copy, and then Acquisitions Incorporated. Ugh. So this one you can still get online from different places, but this is really, really popular. It's like $100 game. So if you weren't trying to get it for cheaper than that, like some of the retail places, like Miniature Market and stuff like that, it's sold out. You can't. I mean, you can get it from like Amazon, but like Amazon wants like 80 or 85 for it. So if you wanted to get it for like 65, 67, I think I got it for 67. So that's literally like 30% off. And it was the last copy they had of this as well. So wanted to pick these up while I can get the chance, because obviously the only way to use all these expansions is if you have the base game, right? So it's either now or never, so I decided to go ahead and do it. So since my birthday is Saturday, I figured I'd jump in and pick them up. Let's open up Clank so you guys can see what's in the box here. This is like one of these fun games. It's like screw your it's like a screw your friends over type game. There's not a lot of deep strategy or anything like that. I mean, there's a lot of deck building and things like that, but you get your rule book. It's only like literally like 8 or 10 pages long. What is this? Does it even have page numbers on here? It's not very. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, there's very few pages. There's some some little markers and stuff you'll use to set up the boards, because it's random every time. So you'll put like different question marks around the board, so you won't know what you're going after till you pick them up. And then you got your main board. There's 2 sides actually to this. So you got this side here, and you have this side over here, which is different. So you're going to be moving your pieces around and you're trying to get to different locations. All the good treasures down here at the bottom. This is like the dragon track here. And as you progress down, the dragon will attack you. And what the dragon does to attack you is, so you have this little dragon bag, right? Here's the dragon. What kind of wimpy dragon is that? That's not a real dragon. But you'll put all the different colored cubes in the bag. Each player has their own set of cubes. So there's green, red, yellow, and blue. And then the black is the dragon. And then every time the dragon attacks, you draw a certain number of cubes. And if your cube is drawn, then you'll take damage. So there's a lot of strategy. Actually, there's a lot more strategy than what it makes it look like because, right? So I'll show you here. All right. So like some of the areas have like monsters between them. You see like this little monster head. So if you try to move from here to here, you got to fight this monster, which means you have to have an attack card. Let's see here. I'll show you what an attack card might look like. So yeah, something like this. So if you got a card in your deck and you got your card in your hand that has these little swords on it, then you can do an attack, right? Yay! So then you can kill the monster and bypass it, and you won't take any damage. Other areas have these little boots, which means you need to have movement to move. So like if you have, I guess we're going to have to open up one of these packs here to show you. This is kind of just broad overview for you guys. Get out of here. So you got the swords, right, which attacks enemies. You have your, what they call skill. So your skill is basically like money to buy things. And then you have these little boots to move, right? So you're trying to get these better cards in your deck so you can move around the dungeon a little bit faster. So like if I had these two cards, I could move 4 spaces, right? 4 spaces in one turn. So, you know, if I could move really fast, that's really good. But then if I don't have anything to fight the enemies, right? So I'm going to take damage whenever there's like a little enemy. Or if I try to move down this one, there's 2 little enemies. I'm going to take more damage. So then you go, oh, geez, I really should have more swords in my deck. But then if you have more swords in your deck, then you're not as fast. You can't move as fast around. And then, you know, like I said, it's kind of a screw your neighbor type of game. So like if I go down and I grab a treasure and then I start heading back and you're way down over here in the corner, right, getting the big treasure, once I get out, then the dragon attacks every single turn and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 turns to get out. If you don't get out by 4 turns, then you're just dead. Actually, you're not technically dead. There is this is like your ground level here. So if you're in the dungeon, you're dead. But if you make it at least to this point, then you get out of the dungeon and you're not considered dead, but you don't get the bonus of leaving the area. So you know, there's like you get a bonus if you make it out alive of 20 points. So if your enemy, if your opponent is gets out and you get out, then you both get 20 points. And if you've got better treasure than him and everything, and then some of the cards are worth victory points at the end. So you're going to add up the treasures that you got. You're going to add up all your victory points for your cards. And so like every turn you go to do something, you can burgle to take items, or you might clank, right? So you might clank here. Let's see if I can open this deck. So every time you make noise, the dragon, your little cube goes into the dragon bag, right? So once all your cubes are in the dragon bag, then when we pull cubes out, you have a better chance of taking damage, right? So you want to, so like here, so you stumble, right? So you're going to add Clank to the bag, and if you, these must be the starter cards, yeah. So there's other cards in the deck that you can get, like. And there's there's tattle, right? So you're tattling on where the other players are. So those players get +1 to their Clank. So every time you play this card, then all your opponents are putting their little cubes in the bank. You're also trying to collect gold because there's a market in the dungeon that you can buy special items for. Come here. There you go. So there's a market here, in one of these 4 spaces. If you have 7 gold, you can buy an item. There is an item, a key, right? So you can buy a key, which is like a skeleton key, which allows you to go through any space that has like a lock on it. So you can't go through these tunnels that are locked unless you have a key. There is, what's the other things you can buy there? Oh, there's a backpack. So you can buy a backpack for 7 gold. And a backpack allows you to carry 2 of the special treasures. There is, what else is there? I'm trying to remember. The key, the backpack. What else is there? Good question. Oh, the crown. So you can buy the crown. That's worth victory points at the end. And there's a lot of cards that'll say, if you own a crown, then gain +2 attack, or +2 skill, or +2 gold, or something. So the crown is kind of like your item you're going after. And then there is, I think that's it. So a crown, a backpack, a key. I think these are the only things you can pick up. Pretty sure. If you get out, then you get 20. You get 20 experience points, or 20 victory points if you get out of the dungeon. And then there's items that you can pick up in the dungeon that are worth 5, 7, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. There's lots of different items like that. And like I said, this is just the base game, and then you start adding in more cards and stuff from all your other expansions. Clank reminds me of Dungeon Quest, but perhaps not as brutal. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Yeah, it does. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's not super deep. It's not super involved. It's just a fun little game to kind of pass the time. Kind of screw your buddy over. Have a good time trying to decide, hey, I'm going to go down after this treasure. If you promise me you won't go, I'll go after the big treasure. And then you say, yeah, sure, I won't go. And then he goes after the big treasure. And then you leave him down there by himself. And there's all kinds of items you can buy as you're adventuring to build up your deck. Mercenaries and explorers and secret tomes and just all kinds of different cards that you can purchase that'll do different things so there's like a deck of cards that are out, and then you just so anytime you draw like a dragon head, then the dragon attacks. To defeat this guy, then you need swords, and then there's the cave troll. You need 4 swords to beat him. If you defeat him, though, you get to 3 gold and can draw 2 cards. There's an ogre, 3 swords to kill him, and 5 gold. So this is a good way to start earning a lot of gold. So you can go to the market, so you can buy good items, but then you got to go down deep to get to the market. So it's kind of that strategy of what do I need, when do I need it, how do I get it, and how do I get out? Kind of game. Let's see. There's gems that you can find. There were victory points at the end of the game, but they don't do anything else other than let you draw a card. So they kind of muck up your deck, but they're worth a lot of victory points at the end of the game. So you can buy a bunch of sapphires. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's Clank. That's Clank in a nutshell, to be honest. Not a super lot. Not like super deep in rules and stuff like that. It's more just fun adventuring. Yeah, these. And notice all the backs and the cards are the same. All the backs on the cards are the same. So I just have to set up the deck, and literally you can be up and playing in like literally 5 minutes. You can be up and playing. It's not super hard, not super complex. Just need to go through the rules and figure out which deck goes to which. And like I said, more expansions and more cards, different maps to play on, a few new rules. So just fun stuff like that. All right, and so that's Clank. Clank in Space is basically the same thing, but they use, so this is after they came out with Clank and a bunch of expansions, then they came out with Clank in Space. And they changed it over to like more of a modular board. So you kind of modularly build your spaceship. And it's just basically the same thing, but there's all kinds of rules with teleporting and moving around and setting off alarms and stuff like that. But your spaceship can be different because of the modular boards. You put them on different directions in different ways. So a lot of people like that addition because it adds new stuff to it. And then, of course, Talisman. Oh my gosh. A lot of good stuff with Talisman. Great game. A lot of expansions. Lots to do with this one. Looking forward to that. So, anyways, be bringing this out here on my channel here soon. So, if anyone is interested, come on by and check it out. And you get a super cool dragon bag too, so that's not bad. All right, guys, that's it. We'll see you tonight at 9 o'clock p.m. for our Kirk and Kurt baseball preview show, the week that was. And then probably tomorrow we'll have some Clank activity on our channel. Hopefully we'll see you guys then. Until then, everyone have a good evening.